Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is something I've shared a little bit when I was on live streams with other people, and I've talked about it, but I've never really gone into great detail about it. And I don't know, I just feel like it's time to share. I never really opened up really about these things. I've told a few people. But I've mentioned before that when I was younger, I went through a lot of demonic attacks. Now, I want to share some of the stories that I went through with these. So basically, there was a time in my life where, I was considered homeless, but people took me in and let me live with them. And mostly the people that let me live with them were, people who practice witchcraft or they were satanic and stuff like that. And the interesting thing is that, I look back on that now. Let me just get into it. So I lived with this kid named Ricky and his family. And his uncle lived in the upstairs of the house, and he practiced witchcraft, and he worshipped the devil, and he had an altar and black candles, and he did all that stuff. And he did a thing where, he had to flush the toilet exactly 666 times a day. Every Tuesday, he had to leave a broken chair out in the lawn. Just all this weird, quirky stuff that he did. And I lived with him for about 2 months. I remember one time Ricky's brother Mikey was yelling about a blanket. This is when it first started happening. And he was asking where his blanket was, and his mom says he washed it, or his mom said she washed it, and he's like, he went down to the basement and he couldn't find it, and he was just saying, I need my blanket, where's my blanket at, I want to go to bed. And we hear a voice from the back of the house in the back room. It screamed, why? And everyone just got dead quiet. I went back there and I couldn't find anyone, I couldn't see nobody. So that was the start of it. Weird things would happen in the house. Things would get misplaced. Someone would put something down and go back, and it was somewhere else. And all these strange things were happening. And I remember one time I was in the basement, and I was always sensitive to things like that, because ever since I was in 3rd grade, I was experiencing demonic attacks, and I got used to knowing what it feels like when they're around and things like that. I don't know, just got used to it, and I could feel it. So I was in the basement one day, and it was probably like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm walking under this part of the basement, and the basement had the ceiling tile, kind of like the schools. It's like cardboard. You can lift it up and drop it down, and I don't really know how to explain it or what it's called, but I was walking under there, and I felt this weird presence. And I started looking around, I didn't see nothing, and it felt really weird. It felt like something was raining on me, but there was nothing there. So I lifted up the piece of cardboard, and I dropped it down, and I'm looking up there to see if I can investigate, because I don't know if this guy put any weird voodoo stuff up there or something like that. That's what I was thinking. And I look on the back of the ceiling tile, and I notice that there is a satanic star. So I take my knife out of my pocket, and I cut a square around it, and I cut it out. And I had a Zippo and lighter fluid, because I had an obsession with fire this was back in 2008. This was before I was a Christian. So I went outside, and there was snow on the ground, and I covered the square in lighter fluid, and I lit it, set it on fire to burn it. And it burned okay, but when it got to the circle, the fire went out. And I put more lighter fluid on it, tried to light it, wouldn't light. So I took it, I broke it in half, put those pieces together, broke it in half again, put all those pieces together, broke it again, eventually until I ended up with a bunch of little pieces. And I dug a little hole in the snow, and I put the pieces in there, covered it in snow, and I turned around and I sat on it to put all the fire out. And I dug it up, took all the pieces, and there was a liquor store across the street. So I just went over there to the dumpster, and I threw all the pieces in. And I remember looking in the dumpster, and I seen like maybe 2 bags of garbage, and it was covered in snow and a bunch of ice in there as well. So I'm like, okay, I should be fine. So I went inside and I went to sleep. And I was sleeping on the couch. And I remember it was like an hour later, I woke up and I felt this. I don't know how to explain it. Kind of like how when you're on a roller coaster ride and you feel that force pushing you back. I felt the force like that pushing me down on the couch. And I heard something say, "You're not strong enough to mess with me." And then that force released. And as soon as it released, Ricky's mom started screaming. So I ran upstairs and she's standing in the front room looking out the window. And I see this bright orange light. So I turn and look. And there's a fire coming out of the dumpster. And it's going all the way up to the top of the telephone pole. So that was, early experiences at that house. Things got worse after that. But, this is just something I experienced growing up. When it first started, is like sleep paralysis, hearing voices and everything. But I used to get it every single night. But ever since I was called to my inheritance in Christ Jesus, it all went away. It's never happened since. I haven't been getting sleep paralysis. I haven't been going through stuff like that. And these things are really hard for me to talk about. I don't know why. It's just, there's things I'm willing to share and things I'm not willing to share. Simple things like this, yes, I will share, but it's hard for me to talk about. But I feel like maybe some people might be going through these things and they might experience these things, but they try to talk about it. Because when I went through them, I tried talking to people about it and they told me I was crazy, I was stupid and all this stuff, but it was so real to me. And the people I was living with seen it happen, but I tried to talk to someone in my family. Like I tried to tell my mom about it, she would deny it and say I'm crazy and all this stuff. But I don't know. So I just wanted to share a little bit with you guys. Sorry, I just wanted to share a little bit with you guys and see what you guys thought about it. If you want me to share more. If you guys want to talk about this, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to delete this video, take it down. But, this is something I would like to go deeper into. I would like to talk about, but I don't know how open to it people are. If you guys are going through something or have gone through something that you want to talk to me about, I'm here for you. So, it is possible to get rid of them. It is possible to be free from it. You don't have to suffer with this, and you're not crazy. I just feel like reaching out to people who've gone through things like this. I don't know. Like I said, I'm kind of nervous about talking about this because these things are hard for me to talk about. But let me know what you guys think. If you think this is something I shouldn't be talking about, I'll delete this. But if it's something you guys want to talk about, then maybe I'll do a live stream about it and really get more into detail with it. But anyways, God bless. I gotta go back to work. Bye.